We talked about the scarcity at the offensive tackle position this year. It's not a great crop of tackles, so if you get a good one, it's almost like that much more valuable relative to the market. I know, Coop, you wanted to highlight a guy in Andrew Sprague, offensive tackle out of Kansas City, who's committed to Michigan. I know Michigan fans are really excited to have him. Why should they be so excited?
Well, I think you look at what Michigan's done at the offensive lineman position. I mean, I think Joe Moore wore the last 2 years, right? So they've been fantastic in that area. I think this kid, from a raw trait standpoint, he's 6'8" and a quarter. He's 295 pounds. He's got a 6'8" plus wingspan. But the way he moves, he's a two-way player. I like him a lot. He's light on his feet, good quick twitch, body quickness, and you can tell from a technique and from a footwork standpoint, he's got a ways to go. But in terms of where he's going in that fit, I like it a lot. And I think the raw athleticism, this is a guy that we are going to see in San Antonio at the All-American Bowl. We always talk about the importance of these postseason events. This is the type of guy, to me, he's got like potential top 32 clay. I'm going to stop short of that. But if he goes out there, has a really good week, this is a guy that could climb the board very quickly. Andrew talked about the scarcity within the top 32, really within the top 64. These big bodies, you give them a lot of leeway. They're really hard to find. So once you have a combination of the size and the athletic clay, that's kind of what gets you excited. And you watch this guy's workout in Kansas City last spring. He's got everything you want. For a guy that size to be able to bend and react the way that he does and be able to recover at the second level, and then not to mention the defensive snaps, they get you a little bit more and more excited. So this is a guy that I can see really kind of working his way up the board. He's tough. He's physical. He's nasty. He's got some raw traits that can be developed. It's just whether or not that's going to happen or not. So his senior year has been a really good indicator of what we want to see. Now, the postseason event for him, it's almost like the Senior Bowl, right? It's your last-ditch effort to kind of move up the board. I'm excited. That's going to be good on good. That's going to be a huge environment for him to impress. But in terms of what he's done as a senior, I think Michigan's got a long-term potential left or right tackle. Either side, we'll see what he adapts to. But he's a what you want, and he's kind of built for that team in that conference.
Coop, you mentioned the two-way, and also with the prospects who are that big, we know like sometimes they take a little bit longer to develop. Like that's a lot of body to have to be able to coordinate. How important is it for you guys when you evaluate prospects to see them multiple times, to see the progression, from that sophomore to junior to senior year, especially with the big guys?
It's important. I mean, we talked about the player personnel symposium in Nashville. And one of the reoccurring themes of that discussion there in Nashville from personnel directors is the importance of senior tape, right? And I think if you are a program that is doing your due diligence on the senior year, you can find yourself and put yourself in a position where you can capitalize where other people may not. I think at Georgia Tech, Brent Key, Eric Singleton out of Georgia, nice find that they kind of had late in the cycle there. There are many other examples that you could go through. Troy Fautanu, who we had at Washington, right? We studied his first 4 games of the season. He had a volleyball background. We knew he had guard tackle versatility, but it wasn't until we saw him against Nolan Smith, who went to Georgia, was a 5-star recruit, got drafted in the first round by the Philadelphia Eagles, that we said, okay, green light, we got to go, right? So the senior tape tells you a lot. And the biggest thing that you want as an evaluator is that arrow pointing up? Has the player plateaued, or are they taking a step back? Right. So when we get into this rankings process this week, with our movement and what we see the first 4, 5, 6 games of the season, it's basically telling us, hey, before these guys go to college, whether they enroll in the winter, the spring, the fall, whatever it is, do we feel like these guys are bound to take another leap at the next level? And the good thing that I get excited about Sprague, there's a lot of big bodies in this class, really, at Georgia, right, that we could talk about that need to be melted down. They're 330, 340, 350 pounds plus. I like the guy that you build up. And when you got a 6'8" guy who's a lean frame at 295 pounds, probably going to play at 320, that gets me excited, right? That means he's going to be able to maintain his athleticism. So the two-way snaps, the other thing that you mentioned, the more they can do, the better, right? More evidence of these guys as athletes moving in space, playing with conviction. So, yeah, I mean, a little bit of a rundown of what we're looking for, but I think the senior tape is absolutely vital, not only in our process, but if you're a team out there in a program, they're still scouting all the way through. Their classes might be at 25, 26, but they're looking for that 1 or 2 guys that maybe other teams are overlooking.